Hello, everybody, and welcome to our show today. Thanks for joining us. I'm really excited you could be here. So today we're talking about a way that you can literally like sit around in your underwear and make a lot of money. As a matter of fact, it's not just something you could possibly do, but this is something a lot of people do around the country, around the world, and a lot of those people that are doing it are taught by the guy that's with us today. So with us today is Jeff Bishop. Now, Jeff is the founder of
Hey,
several
everyone.
popular financial education and trading websites, including RagingBull.com, the fastest growing stock and market education site. Jeff is a multimillionaire trader and economist with nearly 20 years of experience under his belt. He failed building for business. He failed building for businesses, even tried his hand on as an online poker player, but learned each step of the way to become a multimillionaire before the age of 35. Now he dabbles in virtually every aspect of the market, but he has a special gift and passion for trading options, which we'll be talking about today, and has become the #1 live streaming stock options trader in America. While he maintains a disciplined approach to the market, he's also not afraid to make the big bets and swing for the fences when he thinks there's an edge on a trade. So, Jeff, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was a great introduction.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm telling you, you've done a lot. So, I mean, if I really gave you what you deserved, we'd be here for 40 minutes just going through your bio.
Sounds pretty good for a guy not shaving, sitting in his home office here. But
Well, that's what happens when I don't give you a heads up that we're doing video. I'm like, hey, turn on your video camera. Let's go.
this is how real life is, though. This is what it looks like. Everybody thinks you read the bio and you have this nice big office somewhere and you sit around, but it actually happens all right here. All the option trading and business building, everything happens at a home office, just like almost everyone else in the country.
That's cool. And that's part of the one of the cool things I think that you do and the fascinating thing. So you basically built all of this, multimillionaire by the age of 35, multiple businesses, the #1 trainer in America for this, and you're doing it all from your home office.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see how the internet just lets you scale up any skill that you've got. You can find a big audience out there for it. So I just happen to be a pretty good stock trader and trainer for education. And the internet just gives you a huge opportunity to do that on a worldwide level. So pretty fortunate that we're living in this day and age.
Yeah, and that's what you guys do a lot of at Raging Bull. I mean, so you guys are really big on, do you take people that are from very beginning stage and then teach them what they need to do to trade stocks?
Yeah, so Raging Bull started with myself, my partner Jason Bond, who's become probably the most well-known stock market educator in the country. He trades a lot of stock, momentum stocks now. I trade stock options. He trades stocks. And we started this about 8 years ago. And it's really grown into the largest stock market education company out there, just by the sheer number of people we're able to reach online. And most people, I'd probably say almost half of our audience are brand new traders. So they're people who have maybe traded a little bit and dabbled in the market, or they're just brand new. They've heard about the stock market thing. They want to get in. They don't know what to do. So we take them from the very beginning to where they need to go, to where we think they need to be for at least having a good grasp of how to do it. And by watching professional traders like myself and Jason Bond and other great traders who have been successful in the market, you can watch these guys trade live all day and pick their brain, man, hear what they're doing, why they're doing it. It just creates a really unique experience that no one else provides out there. So that's kind of why I think it's become so popular.
Yeah, to give an idea what's possible, I think you said tonight, one of your clients is getting on there and doing some education and teaching. Can you speak to the kind of success, for example, that he's having?
Yeah, so that's a good question. His name's Kyle Dennis. He was our first student who made $1 million in profits after working with us. So he was verified. My partner Jason and I said, you know what, we've got all these guys who are successful, but no one really wants to step forward and admit it. So what if we gave a car away? And Jason said, all right, we're giving a Porsche away. So the next day he got online and he told everybody that he's going to give a Porsche to the first guy who has the verified $1 million after joining our service. And within 2 or 3 months, this Kyle Dennis kid comes along. He was a UCLA graduate. It was when he started with us when he was just barely out of college. He was working in a cubicle making $50,000 a year. And he was really unhappy with his college where it landed him. Kind of got interested in the stock market thing, lost a lot of money his first year. Second year, he found us. He took like $15,000 and made $80,000 really quick. The next year, he made $800,000. Oh, wait, he had a year he made in between. Then he made $800,000 his third year there. So within 3 years, he made over $1 million. And so we awarded him a Porsche. we had this big event in Vegas for him, and he's turned out to be like just the best trader and educator out there. I mean, people love his system, how he does things, and he's got a really unique angle in the market if he's made so much. So when we gave the Porsche to him, he made $1 million. Today, he's made over $7 million in the market, all from home. Uh, he lives a really down to earth lifestyle. He just dialed into the market all day, but still not even 30 years old yet. So that's one of the opportunities we'll be able to share is events like this where we can get together and learn some of his kind of strategies and how he's making that kind of money. So it's obviously very interesting to people who want information on it, right?
So
Yeah.
what's the first step to jump in? I mean, Jeff, do you have to kind of figure out, because you mentioned, okay, you do the option, somebody else does the trading, for example. And in these situations, how does somebody even know the difference between them or know kind of where they start? Because it seems like with the education, you kind of have to have an idea of which direction you go,
Yeah.
or how do you figure that out?
I think that's a good question too. It's like if you've never traded before, then you look at it like, how do I even know what I want to do? Do I want to trade options? Do I want to trade stocks? What do I want to do? So at Raging Bull, we've got like 10 educators, and they all focus on a different area. So everybody's got a unique niche on how they trade stocks and options. So how are you supposed to know as a brand new trader? Well, I think you first come in and you find someone that you can learn from easily. So most guys that come into our system, they came in from something with Jason Bond. He's really personable. He's really great. He used to be he used to be an elementary school teacher, so he's a great educator already, and he's kind of our magnet to bring people in. So most people come in with Jason, and they either stick with him or they find other people in our system they kind of gravitate towards. While you're in our network, you're going to hear more about myself and Kyle Dennis and Jeff Williams and Davis Martin, all these people that are in our network doing trading. And you kind of find things that kind of gravitate towards your style. I mean, some people are really fast and aggressive traders, and they naturally want to gravitate towards that. Some of our guys are just slower pace. They are going for slow gains. They understand that you've got a busy job to work, so you're not in front of the computer much. So we've got all kinds of systems and styles out there. And I think that people figure out what works best for them, and they find the right person to learn from once they're in the system. But just kind of getting started and learning what's out there is just the best place to start.
That's cool. And then what happens from there? What's kind of the next step of learning? So let's say you figure out the options is what you want to do. Then is the next step to find mentors like you guys and then just start tuning in? Is it best to start reading? Is it best to start watching video, learning? Because I don't know, but I would assume there's a lot of different gurus teaching a lot of different ways out there. So if you kind of get an idea what you want to do, then how do you take the next step of figuring out what kind of platform to start learning on and the best way to learn?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much learning material out there. So I think that's a great thing that Raging Bull does is help you consolidate like what you really need to know and what is just, great information, but you don't really need that to get started trading. It's not helpful day to day. So you can go on tons of websites and spend endless hours reading about stock market education. It's going to help you understand the market for sure. But I went to college. I got a finance degree in undergrad and then an economics master's degree. I learned a lot about stock trading and the markets and all this stuff. But until you actually trade, it doesn't help you at all. All the stuff is just head knowledge. Until you put it into practice, it doesn't really matter. So you don't really know what you're even reading. So Raging Bull really helps you to see what real traders are doing day to day, and we help coach you on what are the best things that you probably should be looking at too as a brand new trader or even an advanced trader. So we have a lot of guys in our system who've been trading 10 or 20 years. They just want more ideas and want better mentorship from guys who've been out there, who've been successful in doing it day after day. So there's a lot of different aspects you can get there. And we really just help refine what you need to know as far as like just focus on these things and this is what you need to do to be successful. And we always tell people get out there and start to paper trade first. So that means that you're not going to put your own real money at risk, but paper trade for a while and learn a system that you can be consistently profitable with. And then once you do that, you're making money with a paper trading account. Then start trying to put your real money to work. Don't go out there and try to copy a strategy from Jason or anyone out there that is already successful and you think you can just mimic their trades. But if you take their training and you put it to work and paper trade for a while, you really can be successful with it. So that's what we try to encourage people all the time.
How much time commitment do you really need to be successful here? Is this something you have to kind of quit your job and move to full time? Can you do this a couple days a week, a couple hours? I mean, how's that work?
Yeah, I really suggest that most people, in fact, probably 95% of people, don't want to do this full time. It's not a great full time job, and everybody's not cut out for it, and you just don't need to be. I think some of the best strategies people can do are just taking a few hours a week. I mean, we have some things, I think an hour a week, you can put a lot of things into practice where you're not trading every day, but you're focusing on a couple of trades each week and knowing which ones to get into and how to manage those. I think if you just do that while you work a regular job, that is ideal for most people because you can learn strategies that can help you make 1,000 or a few thousand bucks a month extra, where that can't be your full income, but it sure is a great supplement. It's better than having another part-time job. So I think by just learning to take a little bit of your time and allocating it to trading, you can learn to make more money consistently. I mean, some guys just love it, man. They want to be in the market every day. We've got thousands and thousands of people in our live chat rooms every single day that are basically day traders. They are in there looking for opportunities in the market every single day. And it's just live education and content. Fantastic. But it's a lot of work, man. That's staring at a computer all day trading is really pretty taxing on you. And if that's not the thing you love and want to do, then don't worry about it. There's so many other ways you can be a good trader without having to stare at your computer screen all day.
Can you really learn in advance with that little time committed? Because it seems like this is something that would take a lot of time commitment to really get good at. And if you're only dedicating like an hour a week or 2 hours a week, it just seems like that could take you many, many, many years to really get any kind of master knowledge to be able to consistently rely on your ability to produce results.
Yeah, so one thing I think that we are able to provide is we can speed someone's learning curve up really fast because, like for me, it took me 10 years to become a good trader. I lost a lot of money early on, a lot of bad failures along the way. This is after a great master's education in finance and economics. Still, terrible trader after that. Took me about 10 years to become successful and learn some tricks and things that would help me become consistent in my trading. And then I was able to teach Jason, and probably within 2 years, he became an incredible trader. And now Jason's been able to teach people in just a matter of months now. So I think the learning curve continues to speed up with people as you refine what they need to know, what is important, and what truly just doesn't matter and you cannot focus on. So by focusing on the things that are going to help you become the most profitable, that just helps you get rid of all the noise out there and focus on what you need to know. So I think we do a really good job about that. And I'm not suggesting anyone comes off the street and says, all right, I got 1 hour a week, I'm going to trade and that's it. If you're brand new to the market, you're going to need to spend some time. That's for sure. You're going to need to put in that initial month or two. You're going to spend some time studying videos. You're going to watch how other people are doing things, learn about the market if you just don't know anything. But if you've got a good grasp on things already, I really feel like an hour a week, you can make some pretty good gains out there in the market.
How about getting started cash wise? Like what kind of investment does somebody need to have or is required to have to be able to jump in and start trading?
Yeah, so we have people that start trading with just 1,000 or 2,000 bucks sometimes. And if that's all you've got, and you want to, that's a riskier strategy. I feel like you've got a lot of risk at that point because you're probably putting all your money into one trade at a time. That's a riskier strategy. But if you paper trade for a while and you become good at something that you feel is consistent and you learn how to manage risk, there's no reason you can't grow that into a bigger number. So you can take that small amount and grow it somewhere. I'm not saying you're gonna become a millionaire anytime soon if you're starting with 1,000 or 2,000 bucks, but everyone's got to start somewhere. That's where I started. So you start with a small account, you try to grow that. At the same time, you're adding money while you're working. So spend some extra time, get those extra hours in at work, put that in the brokerage account. Before you know it, you'll build that thing up to $5,000 or $10,000, and then you've really got some options. Our goal is really for everyone to have like $10,000 to $20,000 in an account, at least as a starting base, because I think that gives you a good foundation where you can make lots of different kind of trades. You don't have to worry about one trade at a time. You can be a little more diversified in your trading, and you have more options that way as well. And once you get over $25,000, you're exempt from the pattern day trade rule, which keeps a lot of people from trading how they need to. Sometimes you need to make a trade intraday where you trade in and out. Well, that's called a day trade. And if you're under a $25,000 account, you can only make 3 trades of those every single week. So by being above that $25,000 level, you have a lot more flexibility in your trading, and that's where we hope everyone gets to, and then however long it takes.
Yeah, so if you can't really exit a trade then per se less than a day unless you have the 25,000 in
Yeah,
the
your
account.
broker, you can do that 3 times in a week, so that could be okay. But you might get that fourth trade that happens during the week, and you just can't exit it. I mean, you can get hamstrung there. You don't want to walk into those kind of situations. So you want to be flexible with what the market wants to give you. And if you are handcuffed like that, you're limited.
In the very beginning stage of this, as you mentioned, is picking out which way you want to go, what you want to trade. Give me a rundown there. Well, what are the options of things that people can trade, and what do you see as popular with people, or what kind of people maybe kind of gravitate towards different kinds of trading?
Yeah. I think when most people come in the market, the most attractive thing are penny stocks. They sound horrible, and if you've been a trader for a while, you've probably had a bad experience of penny stocks. But penny stocks are simply low price stocks, probably anything under $5 or less out there. And the reason people like these stocks are, number one, they're cheap. So if you have $2,000 account, you can buy a good amount of penny stocks. Apple trades around 200 bucks a share. So if you've got a $2,000 account, you can only buy 10 shares of Apple. It's not very fun, but you can buy thousands of shares of a penny stock. So people are naturally drawn to that to begin with. Plus, the percentage gains can be pretty fantastic. And if you want to grow a small account pretty quickly, penny stocks really can be the way to go. Now, the risk is these things are very volatile. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can be getting in when you should be getting out. You can be making really, really bad choices there, and you can blow up even a small account pretty quick. So one thing we're always teaching people is how to manage your risk, man. Always keep that first and foremost. Don't ever get in a trade where it could beat you up so bad where you can't recover from it, or you put money and you can't afford to lose. These are things you always need to keep in mind as a trader. But I think penny stocks are typically the way people get started, and then they find other strategies out there as well.
That's awesome. So you think get started with something like that low end, you can have a lot more funks. You could trade a lot more. And then when you're in there, then you can kind of figure out the others. When somebody comes in and starts, let's say at penny stock level, how do they start discovering these other avenues they can trade? Do they start like watching those kind of traders on your platform, or how do they then get into options and all these other things to know which way they may go next?
Yeah. Well, like event tonight we have for Kyle. So he's not a penny stock trader, but if you're on the Raging Bull network, you're going to know about Kyle's event tonight where he's teaching about a new option strategy he has. So maybe you've never thought about trading options, but tonight Kyle's going to talk to you about how you can trade options and how he does it and how he's successful with it. So you're going to learn a little bit of what he does in that event, and that just helps you learn some more of what's out there. So I think we have those kind of things all the time that expand traders' horizon of just what's even possible. So become comfortable in one thing, but always be looking for other ways that you can make money as well. We call these different profit buckets. Like you want to become, the first thing you want to do is find a bucket that you can pull profits out of the market all the time. So get good at doing one thing and then expand from there. Try to find multiple ways that you can have a different strategy that makes you money all the time. So have multiple profit buckets that you can focus on, and that's how you're really going to be successful for the long term as a trader. But it all starts with the first one. So you got to find something that you're pretty successful at to begin with, and that's what we really want to help you find.
You do the same thing, Jeff? Do you have multiple profit buckets? Because it sounds like you're pretty big on options. Like, do you
Yeah.
spend time in the other areas now, or do you pretty much just solely stay with options?
I pretty much stay with options. I'll trade some stocks here and there, but I run 2 option trading services, so I'm very focused on those two services and trading for those. So since those are option focused, I'm looking for those trades all the time. But I'm also a busy guy. I'm running a business. I'm not in front of my computer trading all day, so I probably trade 2 or 3 hours a day. I would say as far as what I'm looking at the market and doing. So I've got different strategies I'm looking at on that aspect. But yeah, I mean, if I was in the market full time, I would definitely have multiple buckets. There's things I like that I really would trade more of, but I just don't have the time or the focus for it because I'm pulled in different directions, doing shows like this and running a business and stuff where I can't be in the market all the time.
Jeff, what kind of options are out there that you can choose from? So we talked about penny stocks, we talked about options, we talked about stocks, probably commodities are there. What other ones are there, and are there kind of clear benefits to going or restrictions with one versus another?
Yeah, so stocks are pretty straightforward. Everybody understands that I can go buy a share of Apple today, and if it goes higher, I'm going to make money. So everybody kind of gets that part. That's pretty easy. I think the next thing is understanding that you can actually bet against Apple or any stock. You can short it. So you can profit if that stock goes down. That's basically you're borrowing those shares from someone today, and if the stock goes down, you're going to buy them back at a lower price and repay the account, and you'll keep the profit. So you can make money by a stock going down. So that's a mind shift for people right away. They don't understand. Second thing is we can do options on stocks, and that's where things really get exciting because with options, they're simply a contract on a stock, and you can make money if it goes up or down with calls or puts this way. So there's two ways to bet. There's up and down with calls and puts, but then you can either buy or sell these. So you can sit on either side of the trade, and there's reasons you want to do either one, and we teach you what our strategies are for that. So when you get in the option market, there are all kinds of different strategies, and it opens up a whole new world depending how risky you are, what your time frame is, how often you want to trade. There's just a lot more opportunity. So we find people ultimately probably gravitate towards options more than stocks because there's just so many different strategies and there's so much flexibility once you understand the risks. I mean, options are really risky if you don't know what you're doing, and that's what people get scared of. But we help to demystify that. We just show them, look, here are the risks you need to take into consideration, but there's a lot of ways you can use that to your advantage. So we try to teach them strategies that way as well.
What do you consider to be one of, if not some of, the most effective type of these trading strategies?
Yeah, I think the people get drawn into buying options right out of the gate because they're used to buying stocks or selling stocks, and then just buying calls or puts on stocks becomes very exciting. I mean, you can make a lot of money if you buy a call on a stock, and that stock goes up. The stock may go up 10%, but your option might go up 100 or 200%. So you might make a fantastic gain in a short amount of time, and people get drawn to that really quickly. Like I'm in a trade over here right now. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just show you. Oh, you can see these trades.
Yeah.
I'm in one trade over here. I'm up over $80,000 in that trade in there right now. And that is a call option I bought a few days ago, and the stock has done really well. So people get drawn to those kind of trades, say, man, I would love to make $80,000 in a few days. The thing is, it doesn't happen all the time. That's a rare event, and you've got to be positioned well for it. You can also lose quite a bit of money if you're not watching your risk on an option trade. So you've got to know your risk, but then you've got to learn to let those profits go farther than you normally would. I think people sell out too quickly. They don't ride for those kind of profits, and they leave things like that on the table when you need to make these kind of profits to offset losses along the way and really get ahead in your account. So I think they get drawn to buying stock options, but the best way to make money in options is actually selling options. Options are priced in favor of the seller, and if you learn strategies that you're selling options, then I think you become more consistently profitable with less volatility in your account. That means you're having less days where you're really losing a lot and more days where you're consistently winning. And that's really what it's all about. At the end of the week, did you make or lose money? And if you're learning to sell options, you're just going to become more consistently profitable. So I think a focus that people should have is on selling options, which make less percentage of money, but just more consistently, and not so much on that, which is fun, but you have a lot more risk involved too.
It sounds like you're really advocate for a strategy of paper trading while you're actually learning. Where can you go to set up these kind of accounts to start paper trading?
Yeah, I think TD Ameritrade probably has the best paper trading system I know. So on their Thinkorswim platform, you can go have a free account, just log in, takes you a few minutes. You can set up a free paper trading account, and then that will act just like a real trading account. So it's set up the same way. You would enter your trades in, you have a dollar amount you're working with, and you can actually enter stock and option trades just like it was real money, but you don't have any money at risk. So you can see what it actually looks like to gain and lose each day. and how the stocks move and how your account moves too. So I recommend that's a great place to start. It's really easy to set up, and anyone can do that.
How do you then teach the emotional impact between going from paper trading to real? Because that's what I've heard from a lot of people that get into stock trading. Like they do really
Yeah.
well paper trading, and then you just hit it. You just hit on that point earlier. Then they get into the real stuff, and just the emotions just overwhelm them, and they're exiting too soon or getting in
Yeah.
late. It seems like they're exiting too soon, is what I hear a lot of feedback from.
I mean, I really think that's the problem. When you're paper trading, you're taking a lot of the emotion out of it because it's not real money. Like if you lost that $1,000 in the paper account, you're like, ah, well, that's learning. When it's your real money, then you take it way too seriously. You've actually got to become more detached emotionally from your trading when you're a live trader. You've got to just look at the numbers, look at the charts, and stay away from getting too worried about the emotion behind it all. And that really is the biggest thing that stops people from becoming successful traders. I think there's a lot of systems you could put in place that are really easy to follow if you follow them, but people don't do it. They get in the heat of the battle, and that trade goes against them, and they panic. They don't stick to the rules. Like, we told you what your rules should be. You didn't follow the rules. You got emotional about it. You didn't sell when you should have, and then you ride down a trade way too far, and then you get in this place where you're down so much on a trade, and you're like, oh, well, surely it's going to bounce back now, or it's down so far that I can't sell it here, and then it goes lower or whatever. You get in these situations where you never should have got into in the first place. But if you'd stuck to rules where you took a small loss, if it happened, or took a big gain, took it right at where you need to, then your trading can be really successful over time. But people just don't emotionally stick to the rules like they need to. And it's hard, man. With real money on the line, it's hard because you're seeing that account move around. Those are real dollars, and that's what separates good traders and bad traders is the ability just to become emotionally detached from that and just focus on the numbers.
I've heard that. I mean, I've heard some people that are really good on the practice side, and then they just completely fall apart on the real side once money really gets involved.
Yeah.
And you played, a little. I think you talked about a little bit of gambling. And I had a friend like that too. He did really well. He was going to be a professional gambler until he lost, and then he's like, "Yeah, this isn't for me." So it just seems like it's so much easier said than done to separate that emotion when there
Mhm.
is real money on the line. So is that really the keys? You've got to set up hard, fast rules of this is when you get in, this is where you get out, and then you have to adhere to that no matter what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we always preach like you have got to have a battle plan before you make a trade. Like you've got to know what's going to happen. You got to have a plan at least before you get in. You don't know what's going to happen, but you have to have a plan for whatever happens. So if you say, look, today I'm going to buy Apple, it's $200, and I'm looking at this chart, and I know that if it holds above $190, I'm going to stay with it, but otherwise I'm going to ride it out for $220. So maybe you've got 5% of downside and 10% of upside, whatever your plan is. You've got a reason for that you picked, and then you got a plan in place, but you've got to stick to it. So when Apple goes down to 190 and you're down $10 a share all of a sudden, you start panicking. You're like, oh no, it's horrible. Well, you got to realize that was my plan. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to stick to it. Even if Apple does turn around and go right back, I got to stick to my plan because that's how I stay in business day after day after day. And you're going to have those times where you missed it totally and Apple takes a run against you. But if you stick to your plan, you're going to consistently be there day after day. And that's what it's all about.
That's awesome. Please note everybody, I just had to move cameras. I think my camera battery just died on my primary camera when you're on it all day, all the time. So that makes sense. So then you really, and that's one of the part of what you guys teach at Raging Bull, right? It's all about developing a strategy, developing a plan, adhering to the plan, how to deal with the emotional impact of it. That's a lot of what you guys are teaching traders to be able to deal with to be successful.
Yeah, so much of it is emotional, and it's getting over that fear of it first of all. So I think we have to help you overcome that fear of being in the market, and then give you the tools you need to learn to be successful. And to do that, why not just watch traders who are successful? There's no better way. I mean, the guy who wrote a book about trading but never traded, what are you going to hear from him? There's nothing. I'd follow guys that are successful traders, see what they're doing, learn their tricks and what they're doing to be successful, and see how you can apply it in your own trading. So take that fear out, learn the rules, and then go really small. First start paper, then go really small and build. So that's ideally how you want to do it.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect combination. Start small, start with some paper trading, find the way you want to go, the kind of trading you want to do, follow the experts in that area. And it sounds like Raging Bull, you guys give an opportunity to actually watch the people that are proficient and experts in that area to then study what they're doing. You're probably not going to
Yeah.
mimic their exact strategy, as you mentioned. It sounds like you're talking about developing a strategy that you're getting information from multiple different traders to kind of conform and make it your own.
Yeah. You know, most people that subscribe to one of our services end up subscribing to like 3 of our services. So once you find someone you work with and successful with, you really end up buying multiple. You want to be with multiple traders that you can learn from all the time because you want to learn their secrets and how they're doing it. So once you nail down that one profit bucket, like I said, you want to learn from multiple people too. So I find that people typically buy about 3 services and stick with that, and they learn from 3 people. So that's just kind of what I've seen over the years,
Are
and
they
it makes a
learning
lot of
three
sense.
different things from those people? Like, is one teaching them
Yeah,
stocks, one teaching them options, or is it like you think that it makes sense to follow 3 people that are all trading options?
yeah. I mean, we see that a lot of times. Like, if you like my service and you become successful with it, you're probably loving stock options. You've got the hang of it, and then you're trying to learn other stock trading opportunities from other people as well. So I think that's what happens a lot of times. Same thing with stocks. If you learn one stock trading method that works for you, you want to learn other ways that you can trade stocks too, and how other people are doing it.
What do you see? Do you see a lot of people get in, get out? I mean, who are the successful people in this? What kind of psychological or psychologically, how do they? What kind of person succeeds? Do you see in this space versus people that just don't do very well?
Yeah. I mean, the people who succeed are disciplined for the most part. They come in, they do stick to the rules. You know, at first, I mean, almost everybody has made some big mistakes, and that's part of it. So we think we're disciplined, we think we're going to obey the rules and do everything right, and you just don't. So you gotta learn that you're going to have failure there. So Kyle Dennis, man, that kid started 15,000 bucks. He had some success. He went down to like 8,500 bucks in that account. 8,500 bucks. He turned that around. Before you know it, he didn't. I mean, that was his low point. From there, he did pick himself up. He stuck the rules. He turned around, made $1 million in a few years. Uh, we have another millionaire trainer with us. His name is Nathan Baer. He trades options with me. He had a I don't know, $10,000 or $20,000 account, and he lost almost half of it. So we lost a lot of money. Made a lot of bad mistakes along the way, but then things clicked. He saw like one thing that worked for him, and he just started doing it consistently over and over and over. And to this day, he keeps doing it. And he's just slowly been building. So last few years, he's made over $1 million. This year, he's made well over $600,000. He's on pace for $1 million year right now. So he just consistently does this over and over and over. And when you become consistent and you stick with that, you're gonna work. It's gonna work because there's a lot of ways that the market is geared where you can be successful in it. So you got to be disciplined, and the emotional detachment, like I said, is really key. You've got to not be changing the plan mid game plan. You can't be making decisions on the fly. You got to stick with the plan and just do it over and over.
So what kind of services do you guys offer over at Raging Bull? We talked a little bit about some of the stuff that you guys do, but tell me how your service works and how it helps somebody kind of get involved in the beginning. And even, like you said, the veteran traders to be able to benefit as well.
Yeah. So a brand new trader, in fact, just go over and visit ragingbull.com. You'll see different articles written by our different traders, and there's different programs. You can subscribe on a free list to start getting some information on anything you want. Uh, just find a place to enter your email. Enter an email. You'll start getting information on everything we're doing out there and start getting free information from all of our traders. So it's a really great place to start there for free. It doesn't cost anything. So start there. And then just find a place that once you get comfortable somewhere, just find a place that you feel like you've got an idea like this trader seems like he's going to be a good fit for you, and just take the first step. It's not very expensive. Just take the first step, commit some money, commit some time, and just learn. So I mean, anything you spend with us, the education loan is worth just many, many times over. I spent so many years and tens of thousands of dollars in college education, but I really wish I had just had a couple programs we have at Raging Bull right now instead, to be honest. I never put that college education to work, but the trading education I love, and I put it to work all the time. So spend a little bit of money, get some good program, get a good trading education, and then spend the right time with it, man. Just don't put it on the shelf and forget about it. Don't buy a service and then the very first day put your whole account in the first trade you see with some guru because you think it's going to go up all the time. Have some realistic expectations and be disciplined and actually treat your trading like a business, man. Treat it like your little business here. So if you've only got a couple hours a week to do it, great. Use those 2 hours a week the best you can. So read all you can, become as knowledgeable as you can, and focus on the things that are going to help you become successful, just like anyone in any business would be doing too.
Great advice. Jeff, thanks for coming on with us today and sharing, man. This has been very enlightening.
Oh, thanks a lot. It's good to talk to you, Ty.
So make sure everybody you visit ragingbull.com. I'm going to go ahead and put that link on the show resources page. All of our shows are at creditsuite.com/podcast. So you can always find Jeff's interview there. And then on the actual interview page, you're going to find a link to ragingbull.com. So I like a lot of things about ragingbull.com. And as Jeff had mentioned, one of the cool things is that you can get a ton of great training there. You can get a lot of information just from their articles and so much other feedback without even getting started with them. So I recommend going over there if you have an interest in trading. And you should have an interest in trading because this is something you could do well into retirement. This is something you could do from home. It's something, as Jeff had mentioned, you don't have to have a significant investment in to get started on just to mess around with. It's something you could just learn partially while you're doing just about anything else. And I think it's really, really a wise thing to get in and try to get money coming in from as many ways as possible. So check out ragingbull.com. A lot of great training that you're able to get there. And then again, you're able to check out a lot of the services they have to watch expert traders do what they do, and then learn the kind of trading that you want to get into, develop the strategies you're going to need to develop, and then get into some of that paper trading to test the waters. And then again, as Jeff had just mentioned, then take the jump into something like penny stocks where it doesn't cost a lot of money for you to get in and start practicing, getting good, and then becoming very, very proficient to make millions, as many of Raging Bull's clients have done. So make sure that you visit ragingbull.com to learn more about being able to trade in your own world and kind of make your own business behind the scenes trading in stocks, commodities, and options and so many other things. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you visit ragingbull.com.